I saved you. And I'm here to save you again.
Welcome back to GameVault HQ. Today, we're diving straight into the world of Baldur's Gate 3, a game that has managed to capture the hearts and minds of RPG fans since its release. Developed by Larian Studios, Baldur's Gate 3 carries the weight of an iconic series on its shoulders. But does it live up to the expectations, or is it just another ambitious title that falls short? Baldur's Gate 3 wastes no time immersing you into its vast and rich world. From the moment you step into the game, you're thrown into a situation that demands quick decisions. You and a handful of other survivors have been implanted with a dangerous parasite and must figure out how to remove it before it takes over completely. It's a brutal introduction, and it sets the tone for the high-stakes, player-driven narrative that unfolds throughout the game. What sets Baldur's Gate 3 apart from many other RPGs is the level of choice you're given. From character creation to story-altering decisions, the game lets you mold your journey exactly how you want it. You can play as one of the pre-designed characters with their unique backstories, or create your own from scratch. The flexibility in how you engage with the game's world is massive. The dialogue options alone are staggering. They adapt not only to your character's race, class, and background, but also to how you've handled previous encounters. Want to talk your way out of a fight? It's possible. Want to intimidate your enemies into submission? You can do that too. It's incredibly satisfying to see how the world reacts to the choices you make. The combat in Baldur's Gate 3 takes its cue from the tabletop Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rules, offering turn-based, tactical battles that require both strategy and patience. It's a love letter to classic CRPG fans, but with enough modern refinements to feel fresh and engaging. If you're familiar with Larian's Divinity Original Sin series, you'll feel right at home with the combat system here. Positioning, elemental interactions, and turn order all matter. You can exploit the environment in clever ways, like pushing enemies off cliffs or setting fire to barrels of oil to create a fiery death trap. However, combat is not just about dealing the most damage. It's about planning a few steps ahead, considering your character's abilities, and using them effectively in synergy with your companions. Each character in your party brings something unique to the table, and figuring out how best to utilize their strengths and weaknesses adds a satisfying layer of depth to the fights. The combat isn't punishingly difficult, but it does require you to think on your feet. Expect some trial and error, especially when you run into tough boss fights or tricky ambushes. Companions are at the heart of any great RPG, and Baldur's Gate 3 delivers in spades. The cast of characters that can join your party all have their own stories, motivations, and secrets. Each companion feels fully realized and brings something new to the table, whether it's in combat or through story moments. Their personalities can clash, align, or even change based on the decisions you make, and this dynamic interaction keeps the game feeling personal and unpredictable. Some of these characters might irritate you, and that's part of the fun. You're not going to love every member of your party, but their distinct personalities make your time with them interesting. You may find yourself leaning more towards characters who align with your own morals, or maybe you'll be drawn to those who challenge your worldview. The beauty of the game is that it doesn't force a particular party dynamic on you. You have the freedom to build your team based on personal preferences and playstyle. The narrative pacing of Baldur's Gate 3 is worth mentioning. This game takes its time in delivering a story filled with intrigue, mystery, and danger. The stakes are high, but they never feel overwhelming. Each quest you take on feels significant, whether it's unraveling the mysteries of the Mind Flayers or helping a small town defend itself from goblins. And while the overarching plot is gripping, it's the side stories and character interactions that add the emotional punch. What makes the storytelling stand out is the way it ties into your choices. You're never just a passenger along for the ride. Every decision you make can shift the outcome of not only your own story, but also the world around you. Whether you decide to go the heroic route or take a darker path, the game adjusts accordingly, making you feel the weight of every action. Now, not everything is perfect in Baldur's Gate 3. The game can be a bit rough around the edges. there are occasional bugs that can disrupt the immersion, from minor glitches like characters not moving smoothly to more significant issues like game crashes. Larian Studios has been diligent with patches, but depending on when you jump into the game, you might encounter some hiccups. Another aspect to be aware of is the game's pacing. At times, the story can slow down a bit, particularly if you spend too much time in side quests or exploring. This might be a plus for some players who enjoy getting lost in the world, but for others, it could feel like the main plot is being stretched a bit thin. Finally, the game can be a little intimidating for newcomers to the RPG genre or those unfamiliar with D&D mechanics. While there is a tutorial, the sheer depth of the game's systems might be overwhelming for first-timers. Overall, Baldur's Gate 3 is a triumph for Larian Studios. It brings together a compelling narrative, deep combat, and meaningful player choices in a way that few RPGs manage to pull off. The bugs and pacing issues are minor hurdles in what is otherwise an immersive and rewarding experience. For fans of the Baldur's Gate series, or anyone who loves a well-crafted RPG, this game is an absolute must-play. Whether you're drawn to the rich storytelling, the tactical combat, or the sheer freedom to play how you want, Baldur's Gate 3 offers something for everyone. We give Baldur's Gate 3 a solid 9.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest reviews from GameVault HQ. See you in the next video.